Hey, happy Friday, everyone. Hope everybody is fine. Happy to see you on this beautiful Friday, January 17th. We are past the middle of January already in the new year, and we are headed towards the end of the month. Wow, that is so quick. And I am very excited because we have a long weekend ahead. This weekend is a 3-day weekend. Because we are going to observe Martin Luther King Jr. And his efforts to have equality and civil rights. So, we are going to have a day off on Monday. And this is In the Raw, unscripted, unpracticed, unedited conversation. We are in the middle of the 10 Commandments. We have read the first 4 that have to do with our relationship with God. And then we've started the next 2 so far, which has to do with our relationship with each other. Today is the 3rd one in our relationship with each other. And it's the 7th one overall. And it says, do not commit adultery. This command forbids breaking the sacred marriage covenant by having sexual relationships outside of marriage, basically. And so, God is telling his people, don't, have any sexual relations with anybody that's not outside your marriage. For many years, many generations before that, it was a common thing. It was common that a man would have several wives, and it wasn't looked upon as something that was wrong. But here God says, you should not have this type of relationship with going forward, right? And then Jesus later, he takes it a step further and he says, if you remember when he is giving the Sermon of the Mount, and he says, you read in the law that you shouldn't commit adultery. Well, I say that if you look at a woman with wrong intentions, with lust in your eyes, then you've already committed adultery in your heart. And so he raises the bar with that. And quite frankly, we're all guilty of this at one point in our lives. I'm sure that, if you're a man and you think about it, at some point in your life, you've done this. Maybe you haven't slept with a woman. Maybe you haven't had sexual relations with a person that's not your wife, but you have thought about a woman in those terms. And women as well. It's not just, this is not just directed towards males. It's also directed to women, to females. And I'm sure that that's happened as well, where you see a man or somebody from the opposite sex and you have certain thoughts. And so this is a very difficult one when as Jesus put it, right? But going back to the commandment that God gave to the people of Israel, do not commit adultery. And adultery is defined as sexual relations outside of marriage, right? And when you marry somebody, you are committed to that person. The Bible also says that your body belongs to that person. Your body, or our bodies, belong to each other. And so when we break that sacred covenant between each other, then we are committing adultery. And so that is not correct. It is not correct even if you are not religious, even if you don't believe in God or believe in the Bible. That doing something like that is not correct, because it hurts people, it hurts the relationship, and it deteriorates the relationship, the marriage. And we've seen so many people divorce over something like that, or separated, and and people are hurt. And the children, if they have children, they are hurt as well, and it's just not good. It's not a good thing. So, it's even if we're not religious or we don't believe in the Bible or God, it's still something that we should not do, just for obvious reasons. And just one more comment about this. Here it specifies adultery, and it has to do with marriage. But there's also another term that's used more in the New Testament is fornication. What does that mean? Fornication. That means that you're having sex outside of marriage, basically. So if you're not married, you're single, and you can say, well, I'm not going to commit adultery because I'm not married. But if you have sexual relations with a person without being married to them, then you are fornicating, is what it's called in the Bible. And that is just equally as wrong as adultery, because the Bible does teach us that sexual relationships should be enjoyed within a marriage. So, excuse me, anything you do outside of marriage in terms of sexual relations is not correct according to the Bible. Whether you're not married or not, if you're doing it outside of the covenant of marriage, then the Bible teaches us that it is not correct. All right. Well, I hope you have an amazing day, amazing weekend. We will talk to you soon.